Do you honestly believe this is going to be the saving grace that's going to pump Bitcoin to a euphoric high? Seriously, dude.
What's next? If everything's selling off, what's next? Okay, well, here's the thing. Raul Paul says what's next is TGA spending. Okay, that is what's going to happen soon, and that should significantly add liquidity and should persist for several months. What is the TGA, in case you're wondering? It is the Treasury General Account. It is one of those accounts that the Treasury has, and they use it to give back to the economy, like to other banks and markets and so forth. This was one of the things that was held back because of the government shutdown, right? And this is now sitting at 1 trillion. 1 trillion. So what's probably going to happen is Trump and the White House and everyone else and the Treasury, obviously, they're looking at, okay, things aren't looking so good. We need a boost, especially now that we're going to start getting economic numbers and they're bad. We need a boost. We need some kind of catalyst because what else is there? Right? The trade war with China seems to have concluded. Now the government shutdown's concluded. But we're not going to get another rate cut. And even if we do, it's kind of priced in. What can we do? It seems like this may be that saving grace, putting that $1 trillion to work.
The saving grace. Yeah, $1 trillion coming back into the system, right? That's going to pump Bitcoin to a euphoric high. Let's review the charts. Okay. By the way, even when this wasn't actually being deployed all these months and the balance was actually going up, Bitcoin still went up. So let's see what happened when these drawdowns happened in these two phases right here. Back in, looks like May-ish, and also in late February-ish. So back in May, yes, it did pump slightly higher. Let's see, May. Let's just go to the low point or beginning of May. Let's just start right here. Like beginning of May, it pumped up to even up to July. Let's say 30%. Okay, whoop-de-fucking-do. Ah, crap, I cussed. I need to edit that out now. Annoying. But what happened in right here towards the late February? And yes, you could blame Trump's tariff and the liberation date, but there's a point to this. Okay, so even when there was a drawdown of this account and the government was pumping money into the system or whatever, and back to the banks or however this thing works, yeah, okay. So February, it already had a significant fall. And even when the government was spending and pumping money into the banks or whatever, it still fell 20%. But that's because of the liberation of all the tariffs that Trump announced on April, right? My point is, just because this reserve went to $1 trillion and all of a sudden liquidity is going to come back into the system, is not going to save Bitcoin from falling if there's outside factors that can actually affect this price action. And by outside factors, I mean the crazy AI bubble that's happening right now, the circular financing that's happening between OpenAI, NVIDIA, AMD, Oracle, which is ridiculous at this point. Do you honestly think if the stock market falls because of these risk factors, and not only that, dude, the fact that retail involvement or investment in stocks is at all-time highs, margin debt is at over $1 trillion. And if you don't even believe that, look at the amount of margin that Robinhood, one of the most retail favorite, platforms that they use, look at the amount of margin and the amount of options call that these retail investors are doing. And you know what they say, once retail is in, that's basically the top. This is getting scary, guys.
Remember yesterday that FINRA margin data we were looking at and we're like, man, how is it that all of a sudden people are going vertical on margin? People are literally leaving comments going, oh my gosh, I'm getting margin called. I'm like, dude, we're 4% off all-time highs and you're getting margin called? Like, talk about not being diversified in your portfolio and being over-leveraged in like momentum names or something. It's crazy. I mean, I'm seeing people that are like, I'm all in on Beyond Meat, I'm all in on Open Door, I'm all in on quantum, meme stocks that have no revenue. And I'm like, dude, those are supposed to be trades, like little edge trades that you play. Like in our alpha report, we're like, look, Open Door, this is cheap at 80 cents. At $5, I'm like, too much risk. Get out of this. This is going to go down again. You got to be careful. It's the same thing with quantum. I'm like, they've run their course. You got to be careful. But look at this Robinhood data, folks. This is something else. So yesterday, the FINRA data we saw was that cash was declining at the same time as debt was going up. So I got the Robinhood numbers, and you could actually see a decline in cash at Robinhood, which is really interesting because, look, it's been increasing. Cash has basically been increasing every single month, with the exception right here of, it looks like November to December, you had about a 0.4 move down in cash. Well, you just had a $1.2 billion move down in cash over here in October. And it is the first time we've seen this decline since November of 2024, and it's 3 times as large of a cash decline. At the same time, not only does that align, by the way, with the FINRA data that we saw yesterday, but at the same time, options have just skyrocketed 22% in October. By the way, this is probably big PP.
Big PP.
For Robinhood earnings. Like, Robinhood makes a crap load of money off of crypto and options. In fairness, though, with crypto going down, I don't know if it's as clear of a bet, because you're gonna have less trading in crypto and crypto goes down. And crypto and options are where Robinhood makes the most money. Equity trading barely makes Robinhood any money. That's to get you in the door. Credit card, money loser. That's to get you in the door. They want you taking in debt and then spending it on margin or spending it on options and crypto. You'll notice that's why they really promote that in the app, or margin. But anyway, look at their margin book. Margin debt increased by 18.7% in 1 month on Robinhood. That is a massive, massive increase. Now look, we've been increasing since liberation, okay? We've probably had, a 5% increase, maybe another 5% increase, roughly doing this mental math here with you, right? This was maybe about a 14% increase, maybe about another, this is a little less than 10%, like 9.5.
Okay, it goes on. If you guys want to see this video, you know where to find them. But point is, dude, margin debt, all-time highs, over $1 trillion. This is scary, guys. This is really, really concerning. And the fact that you honestly think that there's this big move happening in 2026 and that this time is different, you literally say one of the most dangerous words in investing. This time is different. This is insane.
I guess we'll see. We don't have too long to wait. All right.
Oh, wrong one. Shoot.
A lot of these scary periods, a lot of these liquidation events, right? And then guess what happens? Eventually, we break out of it and we continue higher. I saw something, I don't have it with me, but I saw something from Bitwise's CIO, and he claims that all this is leading to something great in 2026. So here's the thing. Most of us have this timeline that the cycle is going to end in December, because based on previous, it's a smart observation because all previous cycles have ended right around November, December. So I get that. But we know this cycle has been different because of the ETF introductions and because institutions leading. Right, so Bitwise thinks that all this is done, the suppression, the correction, the manipulation is all done because we're going to have a fantastic 2026. And they believe that 2025 is not the end of the cycle and we're going to continue forward. And I've said that too. I think it looks more and more like that's going to be a scenario. That we're not going to enter crypto winter come January and slide down 80%. We'll just continue forward. And in fact, everything that we're going through right now is building something huge in 2026.
Ooh, yeah. So this time is different because of the inflow and the ETFs and all the institutional buying, right? See, the funny thing is, everybody basically at this point in crypto is waiting for that euphoric run. But the problem is, and what they don't realize is, the euphoric run happened, but not in crypto, in stocks. The fact that retail allocation in stocks is at all-time highs, margin debt is at all-time highs, over $1 trillion again. And the fact that you're actually having these ridiculous runs in these unbelievably ridiculous stocks, like for example, OKLO literally has no revenue. They're literally burning through cash. And this all of a sudden from liberation lows of April went up as high as nearly 800% run from April. Heck, even if you take it from the September lows, beginning of September, basically 2 months went up nearly 200% on a company that has zero revenue. So yes, NVIDIA and all this and that, I can understand the run, but these ridiculous stocks making these ridiculous pumps, you can't tell me this isn't like an altcoin run, dude. 400%, dude. Nearly 500, dude. Even if you take it from the end of September, dude. Over 200% on SanDisk? They don't even make AI chips, dude. Do they use it in data centers? Yes, to a certain extent. But are they like a pure AI play? No. So yes, everyone who's waiting for this euphoric run in crypto, I'm sorry to say, but it already happened. But it happened in stocks. And think about it this way. If retail exposure to stock is at all-time highs, and all of a sudden stocks ends up correcting or whatever, and if retail really is up the butt in margin debt, where are they going to get liquidity and investors to come in for crypto and pump Bitcoin up? Dude, if stock goes down, Bitcoin's going to go down too. Bitcoin is not immune to it. That's my point here. Why are you ignoring this outside factor that can hugely affect Bitcoin and its price action going forward? You can't ignore this stuff, man. And this circular financing that's going around in AI. Oh, we're gonna build out, open AI. Oh, we're gonna build out all these data centers and have all these crazy revenues. And we're gonna buy, NVIDIA chips to build it out. Oh, thanks, OpenAI, NVIDIA says. We'll invest money into your freaking company. Oh, thanks, NVIDIA. We'll take your investment and buy more chips and build more data centers. Like, what the heck is going on with the AI, dude? Honestly, what's going on in the AI sector right now freaks me the hell out. You should be concerned. And if it goes all poopy doopy, I can guarantee you it's going to bring Bitcoin down with it. I guarantee you, dude. This is insane.
Okay. Now, have we seen something like this happen before? Yes. Well, now I got to back out. This is what happened with Bitcoin after government shutdowns. And if you look at it, it just happens to correlate with the last 2 cycles, including this cycle. Look at that one in 2013.
Okay. Anybody who actually watched my previous videos already know what happened in 2019. Okay. But 2013, I'm just going to skip through it because it's the same thing. So basically, 2019, for those of you who did not see it, yes, you had a run afterwards, but that was after the freaking crypto winter, bro. How are you going to expect the same thing after the freaking winter already happened? You're basically at the crypto winter low. And yes, you did have a 300% pump up. It's not the same scenario. Let's look at 2013. 2013, I will admit, it does actually work in his favor because this pump right here actually happened within the same year. However, here's my problem with this one. Guess what the market cap was during this high, in 2013 high? Let's ask Grok. What was Bitcoin's market cap at the 2013 highs? I remember it being 15.1 billion or something like that. Okay, he gave me a different answer, 14. Either way, it was between 14 to 15 billion dollars. Guess what the freaking market cap is right now? Bro, it's nearly $2 trillion. 1.89 trillion. Dude, this kind of pump right here, you're going to need way more money to pump it up the same way. So let's just say there is a diminishing return. And during this pump, you basically went up, what the hell? Really? That much? Jeez. Bitcoin was crazy back then. Oh no, roughly around 600%-ish, right? Let's just say there's a diminishing return. Let's see how much it actually went up in 2019. 2019, when it had that kind of run up, we had about nearly 300%. So roughly 50% of the previous run. Let's see what 150% pump from this point is from this low. If we get diminishing returns on BTC, 150% will bring it up to around 200 and what the 240%. If you want this kind of euphoric high to happen, like I said in my previous video, guys, you really need to take out this blue trend line that you attacked 3 times, but it got rejected too. Now, doing a little analysis on Bitcoin, if you're going to do a little bit of swing trade, this is a good level to buy. Why? This has been the trend line, support line during this entire bull run. It's always bounced off of it for the past 2 years. However, the problem I have with this trend line right now is it hit multiple times already. So the more it hits, the more likelihood that it's going to fall. So if you're going to do a swing trade, do a small position here. Not financial advice, by the way. This is what I would do. I actually have a small, long swing trade position here. But I'm also anticipating it going lower if something happens outside of the crypto universe. Okay. So if the whole AI thing and all that stuff pops, and by the way, next week, very important. Why? NVIDIA reports earnings on Wednesday, and the labor report that we didn't get for the past month is finally coming out on Thursday. So those are going to be market movers. So be careful with that. So just in case if those 2 things go poopy doopy, I anticipate this going possibly lower. And if it does, I would add maybe around this area here, the upper trend line of this white parallel channel. And if that goes even lower, then honestly, at that point, I think we're in a recession because I can't think of any other reason why it would go lower. And the fact that we're actually going lower now, just a week before NVIDIA's earnings comes out and the labor report finally coming out, kind of makes me suspicious. Because think about it. What major news actually happened in the past 2 days or even this week that would actually cause the market to go down this way? Nothing that I know of. So why is it going down? Kind of makes me suspicious. Maybe big money, institutional money, actually knows what's going to happen next week. I have no idea. Just speculation here. But it's weird how it's going down like this without any major news to cause it. So there's no major news coming down. So price action happened, but there's no narrative. What's going on? No idea. But even if it bounces here, if it curls over and hits this line again, I would be even more worried. Why? Guess what you're forming here if you end up going like this and it ends up curling over rather than shooting up past this blue line and ends up curling over like this? What the? Dang it. Guess what this is, dude? Head and shoulders pattern. Huge head and shoulders pattern. And if it ends up forming a head and shoulders pattern like this, and let's just say it ends up breaking like here, bro, that could literally bring it down to like 70,000. Wait, that's back in May. I don't think that's even going to happen. Yeah, it could happen even sooner. Like the first quarter of 2026, if anything. If it happens in the first half or first quarter of 2026, it could potentially go down to nearly 65,000. Now, again, head and shoulders pattern, the measured move doesn't always go all the way to that point, but it's something to consider and you should really be aware. So even if it bounces up here, which I do anticipate a bounce, since that's what happened, it could always change, it could always break. But even if it bounces, if it ends up curling over and it doesn't shoot past up and really get past at least breaking above this wedge pattern again, dude, if price action ends up being weak and ends up breaking and hitting this line again, and if it breaks, just be careful, guys. Be very, very careful.
Here's something else. Bitcoin is about to hit a death cross, or form a death cross, I should say.
Oh my God, not this again. This. How many times did he even mention this?
Times Bitcoin formed a death cross. It wasn't immediate, but you can see death cross, and then a little bit afterwards, boom. Death cross, a little bit, boom. Death cross, boom. We're about to form that death cross today. So this is also a pretty good bottom indicator. Whenever we have massive panic, massive selling off, that's usually a good indicator that is bottom. Same thing, according to this trader. Okay? Death cross will tick.
According to this trader, not him, this trader. Zero analysis.
Tomorrow, and the last time, actually every single time it's happened, it marked the local bottom. But doesn't mean
every single time this happened, it marked the local bottom. Okay, yeah, 50. Green is to 50. Get rid of this. Oh wait, I turned the volume on. Sorry. Green is to 50, and the red is to 200. Yes, the last 3 times we did get a pump after we had the dead cross. But guess what? The time before that, that was the crypto winner. Why are you leaving that out? You can't just say, oh, every time you had a dead cross, yeah, it just pumped up. And you conveniently leave out the one time before all this. And the like, how are you going to mislead your viewers like this, dude? You have to show them the entire picture. You have to do better than this, dude. My goodness.
mean that the bottom is tomorrow. It's probably the next 7 days, 8 days. Kind of like this. Like I said, it doesn't always happen immediately. Oh, well, I don't care about death cross. I don't care about bottoms. I don't care about any of this. Is the cycle over? Okay. Did the top already pass? Okay. So I was thinking hard about this, and I even consulted ChatGPT. I'm like, what do you think about the current cycle? Is the current cycle over? Is the 4-year cycle over? And did we already miss the top in altcoin season? And I actually got some insightful answers from ChatGPT. First things first is ChatGPT says, you know what? One of the big reasons why it doesn't think the cycle's over is because usually bubble tops end with a lot of euphoria. People FOMOing in, people talking about buying Lambos.
The fact that you're even using ChatGPT just to get a reference point or whatever, I know you're not taking it seriously, but dude, seriously? Asking ChatGPT rather than doing your own analysis? Bro, yes, I agree. When FOMO happens, that's pretty much the top. But guess where the FOMO is happening? In stocks. Dude, like I said before, the fact that retail exposure to stock is at all-time high, margin debt is at all-time high, over $1 trillion. Dude, and unless Robinhood is faking their numbers on their earnings call, like me, Kevin showed here, dude, retail FOMO did happen, but not in crypto, in stocks. So everybody who's waiting for this euphoric run in crypto, unfortunately, is either blind or just not realizing the fact that the euphoria did happen. But in stocks this time, dude, look at OKLO and all these other stocks that I mentioned before. Ridiculous runs. What business does OKLO, a company that has zero revenue, by the way, have to run up this ridiculously high? nearly 800, even from September, 200%. What? This is basically altcoin moves, dude, but not in altcoins, in stocks, man. So yes, if this is the euphoric run in AI and stocks right now, and if this ends up popping, and the fact that if retail is actually really freaking out over what, 6% correction in the market so far, dude, an actual correction in the markets is at least 10%. We haven't even hit that, and people are apparently getting margin called. Euphoria happened, dude. I'm sorry, but it did. But unfortunately, it didn't happen in crypto. It happened in stocks. And I can guarantee you, if this euphoric run in stocks and everything else, especially the AI sector, ends up popping, I can guarantee you, not financial advice, but I can pretty much guarantee you that freaking crypto and Bitcoin and all that stuff is going to get affected, dude. Look what happened in Liberation Day. Did it just magically not get affected? I mean, think about it, dude. When it comes to tariff and stuff, yes, it will affect companies and stocks because it will hurt their earnings. Well, what earnings does Bitcoin have? No, nothing. And yet, even with those announcements, Bitcoin went down. You can't ignore these factors, dude. And the fact that you're not presenting it to your subscribers and your viewers, it's just ridiculous, dude. How are you not presenting it? You have to do a better job than this. Really. Oh, boy. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. This is going to be a long one. And yeah, just be safe out there. Do your own analysis, please. And just be safe. And for the love of God, please do not go on margin. This is getting really dangerous. And I'm honestly kind of getting scared. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.